Well, we've already talked about the fact that the Odyssey came out, hit theaters, and other than a couple of comic book movies, all with the name Deadpool in it, it became the highest grossing opening weekend for an R rated film in cinematic history. We also talked about the fact that it is now the highest audience rated Christopher Nolan film in the history of his career and has done very well. But, there's been a little bit of a question, at least that I've had in the back of my mind, and I've heard some other people have as well, which was, well, they were selling tickets for that opening weekend like a year in advance. And how would it do after that? Just everybody wanted to see it first, the first opening weekend. How would it do? Well, we might already have our first little glimpse of how it's doing. Because on Monday, of course, the movie continued to play. And now, according to Deadline and the other major trades, the Odyssey doesn't stop. Epic scores best Monday for the year so far with 18 plus million in box office dollars. 18 million in box office dollars. Now, that beats out Toy Story 5, which did have the top Monday of the year so far with like $17 million. And Toy Story, by the way, is getting ready to cross that $1 billion threshold. So it'll become the third $1 billion film of the year, right? Because Mario made it. Yeah, Mario made it. Michael just recently made it. And now it looks like Toy Story 5 is going to cross that $1 billion mark as well. Anyway, Toy Story 5's opening Monday for you was 17 point some odd million dollars. And now we're talking about the good folks over at the Odyssey, the good ship Odyssey, has now made 18. Here's why this is significant, at least to me. And then I want to know from you guys what you think about this. But the reason to me that this is so significant, other than the fact that it's the biggest number of the year, like no Monday in the entire year had a movie make as much money as the Odyssey just did. The reason this is important to me is because it, at least for a fan like myself, it answers that question about, was the opening weekend just a mirage? Like, in the sense that, yeah, okay, sure, it's Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Everyone wants to see it on IMAX first weekend. There's that. And great, biggest R-rated opening of all time for a non-comic book film. Fabulous. But will it hold? Will people go to see it on days most people don't go to the movies? Will it continue to generate interest and money after that? Will the word of mouth that people say to their friends about it embolden people to actually go out on a weekday, particularly on a Monday, and go see it? And it looks like, at least to me, that question got answered. 18 million, the biggest Monday of the year for this film, past its opening weekend. Again, bigger than Toy Story 5, but I don't expect it to be bigger in the box office overall than Toy Story 5 is, but I still think it's significant. Sean, you saw this number, and you and I had talked about the Odyssey before. I am quite frankly shocked that it made that much on a Monday. I expected it to do well, but I expected about $8 or $9 million on the Monday, but 18 million. Are you surprised by it? Not surprised by it? And what does it tell you, if anything?
Well, anytime you have something that is the biggest, almost by definition, it's surprising because it's doing something hasn't done before or hasn't done recently. Christopher Nolan, you shouldn't bet against him at the box office, so no surprise it's doing great. But like here in Austin, the Bob Bullock IMAX Theater, which is the tallest IMAX in Texas, every single showing of the Odyssey is sold out during its entire run of 5 weeks or whatever it is. Every single showing is sold out. And whenever I heard that, I went, oh, this thing is doing something special. And you don't expect, like, a Christopher Nolan R-rated adaptation of a 3,000-year-old poem isn't going to have the same viewing behavior as a Marvel movie that high schoolers go see. And so this was always going to have stronger legs on the back end because it's going to appeal to an older audience that don't feel the need to rush out opening day quite as much. And people, like my sister was very interested in it, but she's not going to go opening day. And so some of that's not surprising to me that it's doing well. But yeah, I mean, as soon as you see beating Toy Story, which is a family movie that came out in the middle of summer where kids aren't in school, you go, oh man, what is going on here? Because this is on this other level. And I think some of it is as simple as people want to see it on premium screens. And so if you couldn't go see it opening weekend and the best you could get is Monday at 2:00 on that screen you wanted to see it on, I think there's a little bit of that of you're going to have some strong legs while people are trying to see it on the biggest screen possible because they've been selling it as that the entire run. Whole movie shot on IMAX. We're going to sell premium tickets for the 70mm screens a year in advance. And that gets people thinking, man, I need the best seats. I need the best tickets. What's my favorite theater? What day can I go see that? And maybe it wasn't Saturday. It was Monday at 2:00 or whatever. So there's a side to it where I can see a logic where this plays out that makes a lot of sense to me, but also seems like there's a phenomenon there that Christopher Nolan tapped into something again.
Rob, 18 million on Monday. Biggest result of the year so far for that, exceeding Toy Story 5. I know you always believed the film was going to be very big. Did you see like beating Toy Story 5 on its first Monday big? Does any of this surprise you at all? And what does it tell you, if it tells you anything about what we might be able to expect from its box office performance moving forward?
Well, I always go down to the Irvine Spectrum, which has a 15 perf 70mm theater, great IMAX theater. And I was, of course, there, this past weekend, and the palpable excitement of moviegoers, and young and old, all the audiences were all over the map in terms of the demographics, and I was paying attention. But there was this palpable excitement that people were, and you talk about this experiential event they're going to see.
Yeah.
And going to see it in IMAX, the first film in history that was shot entirely in IMAX, first feature film from a master director that's been delivering the goods for the last 25 years to audiences. I think people are always going to want, by definition, an experience, whether it's a great concert, whether it's a great movie, whether it's a great play, whether it's a great sporting event. People love to go and collectively be with other people and share excitement. And what I've noticed is that, and there's a conversation around this movie. Whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it, whether everybody, I had no idea there were so many Homeric scholars in my circle of people that I know, but apparently there are. But everybody has, everybody has something to say about this movie. And there's a conversation. It's not just seeing the movie and being overwhelmed by the sound and the picture, but it's the whole social and cultural, and it's an event. It really is a cultural event, and it's something we can all share and we can all comment on and we can all experience. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, when you sit down in that theater, you are transported, and you are watching something that is unique. And I think people turn up for that kind of experience. They tune out, they tune up, but they turn up for these things as well. And I think that it's really great to see, and it shows that there is still, this summer is showing people are turning up for these events. Michael was an event film.
Yeah.
Toy Story 5 is an event film. These are things that, and they're delivering for audiences. They're delivering the goods. And the same is true, by the way, of Backrooms and Obsession. I went and saw the extended Backrooms just to see what that was all about. And these films are also providing what movies people have forgotten, I think, that movies, as you always said, the great ones are experiential events. And people sort of got complacent, but now they're going back to the movies, and the movies are delivering. They're giving people these experiences that they've been craving. And it shows that Hollywood can be as viable as ever if it's providing an audience what the audience wants. And Christopher Nolan does.
To that point, and I don't know if this speaks to your experience, guys, or not, but I remember when Ann and I went into the theater, like even before going into the actual theater, like we got into the building and people were getting their posters and that they were given out for opening day and stuff. It's hard for me to quantify this, but one of the things I said to Ann walking in the theater was, I haven't felt this kind of energy since I saw Endgame. Like the audience that was there, you could feel the energy they had. Like they felt they could have been right or they could have been wrong, but they felt like they were just about to watch something special. And there was this palpable energy in the room, this excitement that again, I haven't felt from an audience since I saw Endgame. So whether or not it has long legs, don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but you know, it's Monday's box office result certainly speaks well to it. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Odyssey just set the new year high mark for the biggest box office on a Monday, actually eking out Toy Story 5, which is itself about to become $1 billion film. That doesn't necessarily mean Odyssey will, but maybe you think it will. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.